This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is another Thursday, and man, in a couple of Thursdays, your boy's about to be sitting pretty thanks to our sponsors at G3 Payroll and Tax. If you ain't got your taxes done yet, you got to hit the homies Jack and the team up over there at G3 because they'll get you together for tax season. But without any further ado, as you can see in the description, it says card subject to change. Well, we've been talking about this one happening for a long time. We have the debut on the show, at least on the solo show end of things, of superstar Bill Martel. How are you doing, brother man? It's good to have you on the show.
Hey, I appreciate your patience, and I think we can just go with Bill. We can drop all the other bullshit.
All right, man. I'm just trying to keep it 100 out here, man. But let's go. Let's get with it. All right, Uncle Chase already in the comments. Shocked Martel knows how to use Zoom.
Yeah, it wasn't all that easy. We got it figured out.
He's old school, man.
We got it together, man. Old school. We got it together. How are you guys doing on a Thursday? Corey, J-Bone, you motherfuckers still breathing?
Hey, man. We're fighting to stay awake over here, man. I'm getting old. You know how it goes.
Who are you telling?
You know how it
goes,
man.
I got my ass kicked by a flagpole today, but we figured that out and I got that together. So we're doing all right, man. And now we've got plenty to talk about. So before we start at all, first of all,
we don't skip over that. How the hell did you get your ass kicked by a flagpole?
All right, real quick. So here's how I got my ass kicked by a flagpole. See, I still happen to live with my mom, and it became one of those things with, can you help me get this flag or, take the top off this flagpole, which turned into, I'm not strong enough to hold the pole, so I need you to take the ball off of it and, spin the damn thing around. Well, all she was doing was holding on to it, and as I'm using the wrench to undo the nut, she's not stopping it from spinning. So I had to enlist the help of my brother-in-law so that I had somebody strong enough to hold it while we busted the nut loose because she wanted to put one of these solar, I don't even know what the hell it is, but a solar thing on top of the flagpole, and because the original ball that came with that has never been taken off that thing, it was a bitch and a half to get it off. So as if my workout that I actually got in today at Crunch Fitness didn't get my arms taken care of for the day, that flagpole kicked my ass. So I should have a good bicep pump for the show today.
You should, and I feel like maybe what do you think, boys? We maybe should have just let that story go, huh?
Yeah, I've been thinking for the last couple minutes how to make a ball and pole joke, but I think he made it for us,
I mean, he said bust a nut at one point, but we'll just let it go.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know what you're going to hear on Knockouts and 3 Counts. I mean, a couple weeks ago when Lindsay Snow was on the show, they were saying it was Knockouts and 3 Counts after dark. So, I mean, hell, you never know what you're going to get.
Never know.
I'm with it.
Hey, man, let's go. So we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, like I said, it's been a long time coming that we've been waiting to have you on the show and be able to, just chop it up for a bit because we've had you on a couple times at intermissions and things at BCWA events. But it's great to finally have you on the show because, I mean, we've been rocking with BCWA pretty much since you guys returned at the Yak a few years ago. So how are you feeling now that BCWA is back out here with the whole pandemic and all that stuff? Because, I mean, you guys are still packing out the Copeland Center every time you guys are doing a
show. I am so happy to be back to normal, at least as normal as we can be right now. We had maybe a year and a half off and then, 2 shows back to back and then another 4-month break. And that sucks. It's hard. It's hard for the boys. It's hard to get good talent because anybody that's really good, man, they've got their bookings lined up, months in advance. and for like an old timer like me, man, it's physically tough to have like a 4-month break and then come back and do this. It's like your body is shocked. So what the fuck just happened? It's I would love to go back to the days of where you're doing this every week or a couple times a week, just for those couple days after a show. It's like, it's fucking killer. But no, I'm super excited. The plan is we're going to be going back to monthly. So yeah, I'm ready to go. I know the boys are too.
I mean,
Well,
I can imagine that
go
was.
ahead, Corey.
I can imagine that was even harder, kind of getting the ball rolling downhill, just to immediately put the brakes on. Like you say, you guys did what, 2 shows and then had to stop again. So I can imagine that makes it even that much harder, just kind of to build up the momentum, just to immediately stop again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so challenging, and so thankful that we have a good, loyal fan base that has stuck with us here and will continue to stick with us, hopefully. And we've got a really good roster too. The boys are sticking with us too. It's not easy on the boys too, because a lot of these guys have been working, maybe not throughout the entire pandemic, but for a good chunk of it. Not all these guys took a year and a half off like BCWA did. So super happy that things seem to be back to normal. So
what was it like coming back from that pandemic, man? Was there any like type of nerves or added pressure by any means coming back to the crowd?
As far as BCWA or me personally?
Just both, I guess.
Okay, so me and Rick did a show maybe I think about 4 months before BCWA came back. I just couldn't take it anymore. We couldn't take it anymore, and a little bit nervous. Was super nervous on the way to the show. Once I just wanted to, of course I was running late, like I always am. So we got there, like, luckily the show started about an hour late, because we got there about maybe 10 minutes before the show was supposed to start. The whole way there, all I wanted to do, I just want to get in the ring and take a bump, just so like I know I'm not made of china and I'm not gonna disintegrate into 1,000 pieces. But so yeah, I was nervous for that aspect of it. But as far as BCWA, no, I've got faith in our staff and ring crew, the boys, everybody. So it was really just a case of like, when can we get back at it? And I know once you give us the date, like, we'll make it happen.
Well, to go along with that, man, like, that was one of the things I wanted to ask. So, I mean, like, you've been with BCWA since its inception. Tell me how the BCWA that we see now, how did it come to be? Because like I was telling you when we talked about before we got on the line, Jordan has been checking you out for a long time. So I've gotten to be around since you guys came back at the Yak, thanks to Tony Thunder. Tell me a little bit about BCWA in its beginnings, and what are the biggest things you see different, whether that's how it's gotten better or just changed in that versus what we see now.
So when we started, we ran every week for, I don't know, probably about 5 years. A lot of the guys, we were all green, not the best, most legitimate training. We, to a degree, kind of, I don't know, I don't really care about heat, whatever. We kind of trained ourselves, man. And every Saturday we had our ring set up 24/7 at the Tri-City Trade Center. And every Saturday there was a good group of guys, maybe, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 guys. And then trainees came along later. And I mean, we would spend all day in the ring on Saturday. And then we started doing training shows on Saturday nights. And then, working every Sunday. So really, BCWA is it's very different than anything else in at least Michigan wrestling, because at least how we started, I don't want to say that we trained ourselves, but I think you guys you're getting what I'm putting down, because I mean, we just work. You can say what you want about us, but we wanted it. And a lot of us are still around. As far as this inception, I stopped wrestling for 5.5 years. I never planned on wrestling again. And I nothing personal against anybody. I was just trying to grow up, man. I was just trying to grow up and get my shit together. Started a career, moved out of my parents' house and got my own place. And I kind of stopped talking to everybody, and it wasn't anything personal, but anyway, my long story is I hadn't talked to Mike Blackwell in years. And there was a circumstance that came about that I reached out to him over a personal matter. And then just one night I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, we should run like 4 shows a year. I think it'd be cool, like maybe around the holidays, like Thanksgiving, 4th of July, that kind of thing. And I was drinking when I told him that.
That's when the best ideas come about, right?
Yeah, the next day I woke up and I'm like, oh boy, I shouldn't have done that. But it was too late. He had already created a Facebook and had a bunch of people like the page or whatever that is. And I'm like, hey man, I'm still with it, but I don't think I'm gonna wrestle. He's like, nah, you're gonna wrestle. You're gonna be good. I'm like, okay, well, fuck it, here we go. So that's kind of how it started. We brought all the original boys back on the first show. Anybody who wanted to work or could work, and then we kind of transitioned from there. And I am really proud of the group that we have now. The roster, I think there's a little bit for everybody. You got your, your high flyers, your athletic guys. You got your old fat bums like me. A lot of the original BCWA guys. A guy like Frogun who doesn't work anywhere else, who's awesome. I grew up watching. Movado has been super helpful this time around. I love Movado. I think the first indie show I ever went to, I watched Movado. Soul Taker, I love Soul Taker. We've got a mix of past, present, future. TJ Meyer, future. Speaking of that, I love TJ. Alex Weir. I can't say enough about our roster, man. I really like where we're at.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out, I mean, especially since the return, which is when we started getting to come around and work with you guys. I mean, just because you guys have brought in names that I never would have expected that we'd see there, in the sense that, we've gotten to interview Colt Cabana, who was there. We've gotten to interview, members of MSK who were in WWE, and all kinds of other, names that we've met through doing BCWA. Is there anybody in particular that kind of like sticks out since BCWA has come back around? Because you guys, like you said, have brought such a diverse, group of people back on these shows, because you never know, especially now in the shows that you guys have ran since pandemic came back, where you're not advertising the cards like that. Is there anybody that sticks out to you that was like, that really got over better than we thought, or anybody that you just enjoyed seeing there at BCWA?
I mean, I love Colt. It was awesome to work with Colt. I really enjoyed his match with, who was it, Justin and Frogun there the second time we brought him back. Not pretty much everything is kind of went over how I thought it would, except for, and I'm not shitting on the guy whatsoever, but I thought I don't know if you guys were there for that. I think you were, but what was it? 3, 4 years ago on 316, we brought in Shark Boy. And had him win the Alliance Championship. And yeah.
Devin would be so happy to know that didn't go well, not because it didn't go well for you guys, but man, I remember sitting at the table, which, our buddies at Wrestling Rage are out there doing their live shows like we were doing before. And I'll never forget Devin sitting there and literally being like, I fucking can't stand Shark Boy. Like I know we were there because I specifically remember. And I remember him winning too, because Devin just was mad as fuck. He's like, I don't know why. I just have never liked Shark Boy. He's like, fuck this guy.
Let me just say, let me clarify. As far as a professional Shark Boy, super professional, good dude, like the dude. Everybody in the match did great, professional. But as far as the fan reaction, it went from here to so much lower than you can even see. I would have to dig a foundation into the basement further than fucking I can go. So
Wow.
that's on me. That's on me. And hey, shit happens. You got to throw shit at the wall, and sometimes it turns out to be good, and sometimes it turns out to be shit. And Chase, I'm sorry, brother.
Uncle Chase in the comments, man.
It's all right, Uncle Chase, because before we go into our full our full breakdown of BCWA Die Harder, I mean, Uncle Chase can't be mad with the match that he's going to have this weekend at Die Harder, because it's going to be him and Matt Cross. I mean, if that doesn't end up being a banger, I don't know how the fuck that's going to happen. But I know for me, that's the match that I am most looking forward to this weekend. So I'm glad that not only am I going to get to be in the building, but I'm also going to get to be there on time for a change. So look at that. But Tony Thunder's in this bitch as well. Tony Thunder. Let's see if we see a Tony Thunder sighting this Saturday as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to
He'll be there
Chase versus Matt Cross. Tony Thunder's going to be in the building too. Now, Corey, we were talking about this before we go on the air. Motherfucker, you're a host of the show now. You're the only one that ain't been to a damn BCWA show, and you can't even bitch and use the excuse of how far because it's in our backyard. So I'm just saying your ass needs to come out this Saturday is what I'm saying.
Listen, Corey, shut your mouth. I'll pull a priest. Shut the hell up. So listen, you don't have any excuse. One, I'm not shit, but I drive an hour and a half to these shows. And two, it's a holiday weekend. You got nothing to do on Sunday other than wake up and give thanks and eat a bunch of food. If you celebrate traditional Easter, if not, that's okay too. But you got nothing to do. Get your ass out there.
Bring the kids, man. Bring the kids. Very family oriented out there.
I was gonna say, it's not necessarily nothing because every single sibling in my family seems to have diverged themselves into different households. So we got 5 different stops on Easter Day alone. But that being said, I will definitely try to squeeze it in because I had a past commitment with Kyle that I had talked about prior that wasn't able to make the last one, but we're definitely going to try.
As somebody who I feel like I've tried to get a lot better at this as I've gotten older, but as somebody who lived the first maybe 33 years of their life as a flake, I know an answer of a flake when I hear one, and he's not going to be. He's not going to be.
He's getting called out tonight, man.
Wow, went about my nose. Damn, shots fired.
Listen, life is a lot easier when I've realized when you just say, hey, that doesn't work for me, brother. Or, you say, hey, I'll be there. I understand. I understand family. That's important.
I knew Martel was going to bust his balls. When you're tall and handsome like Corey, Saturdays are booked like 2 months in advance.
What are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do?
Okay. He's getting it in the comments and from the guests.
Getting it from both sides.
If you're booked 2 months in advance, then how about this? We'll see you in how about June?
I think this Saturday sounds better than June, if anything.
Honestly, for you,
shit! Now Chase is throwing him out at Martel. He says, "Can confirm Martel is awake."
Hey, I'll tell you the one thing I didn't flake on was the shoot interview, and we can't talk about that, but he knows. Hey, honestly, in all seriousness, all ball breaking aside, if you can make it out, you're gonna have a hell of a time. It's gonna be awesome. You're not gonna regret it. And that goes for you and everybody who's listening out here. It's gonna be an awesome fucking time. So whether you're there or not, we're gonna do our thing. We'd definitely like to see you there, but I understand if you can't make it. Not a big deal.
That's
all right. So how about this? Since we threw this on the last one, these two pussies backed out and wouldn't do the shoey when Joel Bateman was in town.
Nah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Damn
that ain't
well,
how it
I
went
ain't
down,
taking out
bro.
of no dirty ass Vans. That's for damn sure.
Look, I was all in. I was all in for it. You're the one that called me a few hours before, like, oh yeah, I'm not getting my wisdom teeth out anymore. So if you want to come do this shoot.
Hey, you can blame the wisdom teeth people for that because I was fully expecting to get my teeth ripped out.
I'm still blaming the
and they got ripped out a week later.
I am not
real
mad
quick,
about not taking
real
that
quick.
shit.
Shout out Ryan Green. I've seen his comments. Shout out.
Oh yeah.
What up, Susan? Yeah, there you go.
Shout
we
out,
got
Susan.
more BCWA regulars in here, but all ball busted and ball breaking aside, Corey said he was going to come through for Chase and Matt Cross. So we'll get a little bit more into what BCWA has got going on in a little bit. But with that being said, man, you know, as I mentioned, Jordan's been checking you guys out for a long time, and he was letting me know that even though you and Priest are real friendly these days, that y'all two used to, you know, have some beef. So tell me a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about that, J-Bone, and how have things changed now in the Studio 86 days? So I'll leave that to you.
Well, for when I first encountered BCWA, I want to say it was at the Tri-City Trade Center, I'm pretty sure. So what it was, and you can correct me if I don't remember the event or nothing, but it was you versus Priest in a retirement match of some sort.
So that was the Tri-Town Rumble. That Greg Valentine was there, right?
Yes, that's the one. Yes. So that was my first time there, I believe. Maybe
that was
second time.
May 25th, 2008. How about that for idiots?
Here we go. Here we go.
Bam.
Well, I'll tell you that right there. That was a hell of an event. Period. The Rumble itself was fucking awesome. I love that shit. And then the match you guys put on was something special, dude. You guys had the video package, the promos, everything was hitting on all cylinders that night. That was my first time I seen that. So from there, superstar Bill Martel to Serious Pro, now to Studio 86. I mean, for me personally, like I said, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like from there to here, you're just having a ton of fun now, dude, with Studio 86. So tell me about that and the, I guess, getting to that point of your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so without going over like all the old shit, right? So we'll just kind of jump like into the middle. I went and I started working for JCW in maybe like 2011 or so. I ended up going to the House of Truth. I got kind of like the finishing touches. I went through the whole class, and I really felt like I was starting to kind of catch my, what's the word I'm looking for? I was in a groove, right? I feel like I was doing good. Yeah, and I was so blessed to work with so many talented guys, and I don't want to name them off because I don't want this isn't about like a name dropping thing, but I was really starting to feel like I was making some strides, and then I had a couple injuries, some shit in my personal life, and boom, wrestling was done, and I was gone, and I never thought I would come back. So when BCWA came back, you know, I went back to like the old gimmick with the superstar bullshit. And, you know, it worked. I love being a heel. That's the best. Had a little run there, put Justin over. And then I remember we had brought, I always call him Money. That's what his name is, Maserati Rick. But he'll always be Money to me. So I remember we had brought Money in, and Mike was like, you guys should be a team. And I'm like, would you really let that happen? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, like, let's do it. Because I realized what was taken from me, or what, you know, maybe I took from myself. But anyway, what I didn't have anymore. And you got it, Tony Thunder, Major Money. And it was like, you know, I've loved Money. Even like we didn't talk for years, but there's a few guys like Nick Braxton is one of them. Major Money was one of them, where even Matthew Priest, to where when I call him up, I haven't talked to him in years. It's like there's no time missed, right? We're right back to where we're at. So for that opportunity for me and Money to tag up, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And then it's went so much better than I could even have ever imagined. Working with Blackwell, Gaddy, I love Big Daddy Gaddy. Everybody loves Gaddy. Braxton is in Studio 86, and Priest too. When we go do these, we don't do many, like BCWA is an indie, but we don't do like many outside indie shots like to other places. You yawning, motherfucker? Are you tired? Am I wearing you out?
Not at all. I'm just getting old.
Listen, I get it. Hey, you know the deal. I can't do. The only reason I haven't been able to do this podcast for 2 years, you can throw me under the bus and tell everybody my bedtime's 8:15 during the week. Good Friday. I got a vacation day tomorrow, or a national holiday, so I'm here. But sorry to Priest is a member of 86. Priest is a member of 86. He's 86's manager when we go do like an Ohio show or Indiana show or anything else. Like so yeah, man, I am having fun. I'm having the best time of my life. I love it. And yeah, so long-winded answer.
Studio 86 is like a whole vibe, dude. You guys get the crowd going when you guys come out, dude. Maserati Rick, you guys with the fanny packs, he's dancing on the ring announcer and stuff. That shit. That's one of my favorite parts of the show. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. For me personally, the entrance is probably the best thing I do. And then it's all downhill from there. But I'm thinking maybe I might try to steal Money's gig and maybe I'll dance with the ring announcer this week. Don't tell me. Okay.
I promise I won't tell Blackwell. I know he might have shared it already, but I won't tell him. But with that being said, you talk about the entrance. One of the best parts about their entrance is, she's watching it herself.
Listen now, listen. Just in fairness. Now I was gonna say this before she jumped on. I swear to God, but I can't do like I've got no rhythm, so I can't do like the grinding that Maserati does. But I might be able to do like a slow dance, maybe just like the arm and I don't know. I've never been to a dance, so I don't know what I'm doing. But it's definitely not going to be the Maserati or the Money dancing. Jess,
I'll give the man that. Maserati Rick can definitely knows what he's doing with that shit. And I feel you, Martel, because I tell people this all the time. Even when I wasn't single, I tell people this all the time. If you're going to get me to dance, there's got to be some kind of alcohol or something involved, because otherwise, I just am telling you, my white ass don't have the fucking rhythm for that shit, and I've accepted that a long time ago. Now, if I have a couple beers in me, then I might be more inclined to dance. But seeing as I don't like to drink a whole ton, now you see the dilemma there. But like I said, I definitely see where that could be that could be an issue. Well, let's talk a little bit more about BCWA Die Harder. Number one, before we talk about what you guys have got going on this weekend, tell me a little bit about what went into you guys deciding to like promote the shows without announcing a card. Because there used to be, at least the main event or a co-main event or something like that out there. But now, since you guys have come back, you guys are doing it without any card. And like I said, again, this is a testament to the reach that you guys have, at least definitely in this area, because each and every time you guys run the Copeland Center, it's still full every time, whether there's a card announced or not. So what was the mindset in going into that upon BCWA's return?
Okay, so without kind of speaking out of turn, I've got to speak for Mike here, but me and Mike are a team, and you guys know. So BCWA is ran by a handful of people. Mike owns everything. He's the shot caller. Jess, Big Man Hudge is a big contributor. But I'm the booker, so I put together the matches. So me and Mike kind of work in tandem. But that was kind of a Mike decision. I think a part of it is, and no offense to any of the boys, because I get it, shit happens, especially during COVID. But every show, man, when my phone, if my phone goes off between maybe noon and 5, I'm shitting my pants immediately, because I know somebody's pulling out of the show. I know somebody's canceling, and whatever. I get it. It's cool. People call off of work all the time, so it is what it is. I think that was a big part of it. And I think another part of it, this is me speaking for Mike, but I think a big part of it was that we are advertising BCWA. Not so much as, so the first show back was kind of built on Bill Martel versus Justin Maine. We're kind of past that. because BCWA is that's the draw. And whether it be, you know, like a Colt Cabana that we brought in without advertising, he's part of BCWA. Justin Main is part of BCWA. Ken Cash is part of BCWA. Tony Thunder, Caesar Asher, you know, Maserati Rick, Gaddy, all of these guys, we all have an equal part. I don't care if you're on the pre-show or if you're in the main event or even if you're, you know, just running the concession stand. We are BCWA. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the draw is. And I think that we've proven now at this point that no matter who's on the card, and we're always going to give you some surprises. And there's going to be, you know, maybe an old guy that you haven't seen in a while or somebody that you've never seen before. But all of these people are BCWA. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It totally makes sense because
so
it makes sense. And here's why I wanted to ask you about that. It's funny you say that. So when, like with Cabana in particular, I remember you guys not promoting that he was going to be in there. And to be honest, out of the shows that I've been to since you guys have been back, that was one of my favorite ones just because the match was fun as hell. Like literally, I remember the one thing I remember from that night was you getting cut with a paper cut from the 8x10 in the middle of the match, dude. Well, like
I think we did announce that one. When Cabana came back is when we didn't announce it. But yeah, that was it was fun to get paper cut in the mouth.
Sounds like so much fun. I just
might have been fun for me to watch, maybe not so much for you, but I mean, I guess that's what keeps me on the other side of the ropes for now.
No, it was fun. He's a total professional. He took care of me. It was a minor paper cut of the mouth. I was fine by 10 o'clock that night.
So that really goes to speak though to the loyalty of the fan base and stuff that you guys have gained, though the fact that you guys are able to still garner such a big fanfare and fill out the venue every time, even though you guys aren't necessarily announcing cards and stuff. To your point, it really does show that people are there to see BCWA and not, you know, vice versa.
Yeah, well, it shows that one, we do have a loyal fan base. Word of mouth is very important. Word of mouth is very important, and you guys help with that. All the boys help with that, spreading it out. Because here's the deal: we could have, you know, the most loyal fans in the world, but if we come out and we give them one bullshit show, you know, they're probably going to come back. We give them 2 bullshit shows, they're probably going to come back. But we give them 3 bullshit shows, they're going to start maybe tapering off. Like I think everybody knows that we're going to bring it, you know, in our own way. And we have something, like I said earlier, for every fan of wrestling or even non-wrestling fans. I've had people that I know who are not wrestling fans who've come to the show and they enjoy it. And whether it even just to laugh at, you know, like when I put on the headband and I do the Elvis Presley karate and I make an ass of myself, you know, that's for a certain group of people. Just how, you know, the athleticism or the storytelling or the nostalgia, we've got something for everybody. And so we do have a loyal fan base, but I'm not trying to put us over too much, but we bring it. We bring it.
Well, you guys do have a loyal fan base because I know, and he just shared this video. Shout out to Chris who's watching us, but he's a guy who watched our show and learned about BCWA. I don't know if it was solely from us or from social media, but, you know, I know through us being at all the BCWA shows, you know, he came and started checking out, and he's been there pretty much at every show since you guys had, you guys come back. So, I mean, I know just in the time you guys have been back, you guys have not only been able to build that audience, like you say, you know, again, it speaks to, you know, the fan base that you have, especially even just in the downriver area. I mean, every time you guys run there, you know, the place is filled up, which is why with BCWA Die Harder this weekend, dude, I feel like we already know, like we mentioned, you know, you got Uncle Chase versus Matt Cross, but I know, you know, we're supposed to get a undisputed BCWA champion out of this one too, right?
Yep, there will be an undisputed BCWA
champion. There you go. You are right. He said he got a ticket through me, and he's been going ever since. So, like, there you go.
I know that. I know that guy. I like that guy. I like that guy.
I'm sure he'll be there this Saturday too.
I'm like a recluse. I'm really weird with my anxiety and everything, but I think I've taken a picture with that guy before. I like that guy. Yeah. So we are going to have a undisputed champion crowned. Alex Weir, as of right now, Thursday night, is the BCWA champion. So we've got Frogun, Justin Main, and TJ Meyer all also competing for the BCWA championship this Saturday. And it's really weird because, you don't see title changes for like the heavyweight championship or the championship. We don't call it the heavyweight. We just call it the championship. You don't see title changes show in, show out, show in, show out, show in, show out. And just by circumstance with, COVID and things like that, we've had a new BCWA champion, I think the last, 4 shows? 3 or 4
it's
shows?
been at least the last 2 or 3.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of controversy. Whether, just Frogun never lost the belt. Justin Main never lost the belt. So, yeah, we've got a lot of guys that have got a stake in that title, and we're going to finally crown the undisputed champion this Saturday, and then we'll go from there.
Do you got a pick on who you think's going to come out with the belt?
I don't really have anything against anybody. I can't get into character and be like, let me tell you something, brother. I'm pulling for Alex Weir, brother. No, I like all those guys. I guess my heart would pull for TJ, but my head would pull for Justin Main. There you go.
I like it. Both of which are, well, actually, no, TJ Meyer hasn't been a guest of this show yet. So maybe we'll have to set that one up before the next BCWA show. But Alex Weir has been on this show multiple times along with the rest of the guys from DTA. So if you guys are watching and you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Let other people know that you're watching this shit because it all helps the show. But yeah, dude, I am very much so looking forward to that. I mean, all the guys that you mentioned in that match, I mean, Frogun, I've been singing his praises for a while. He's a multiple past test of the show. Justin Main as well. And I said this after the match that he had with Matt Taven over there a few weeks back, man. I mean, I think Alex Weir is one of the biggest up and coming guys. Him along with TJ is guys that we've got in the Michigan scene as guys that I could really see, breaking out and going other places. I've seen Alex already start to travel a little bit to Chicago and other places. So I, for one, am definitely looking forward to that match for sure. What else, if you want to bring out any more of the matches for the card, I mean, what else are you looking forward to other than Uncle Chase and the main event for the BCWA championship?
Particularly Studio 86.
So yeah, I know. Uncle Chase and Matt Cross, anybody who is coming to steal the show is going to have a hard time trying to steal the show to beat that. Believe it or not, in my own way, I do come to try to steal the show. So I'm not like calling Chase out in the streets. I'm just saying, like,
Chase don't want to smoke.
He has no. It's not even like that. Like,
he might just show up. You never know. He might just show up through the door.
I'm telling you, the bar for that match is way up here. That's way up here. The main event is going to be amazing. Obviously, I don't know what I'm supposed to spoil and what I'm supposed to not. I will tell you that. So last month we worked with DTA, and that was Studio 86. That is. And that was a really big challenge. I think that was a good match. Thank you. I feel like that was a good surprise for the fans. I don't think that they really saw that coming. I think this month is going to be very similar in that vein for what we're doing. Big challenge. Super excited. So one of the people, one of the people in the match against us has been a former title holder in BCWA who hasn't been around in a show or two. So you can decode that how you may. Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple guys coming back too outside of that haven't been around in a couple 3 months maybe. Don't want to spoil it.
I get you, but I mean, plenty of surprises to pay attention to, just other than the stuff we already know about.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to I don't want to cop out, man, but
no, it's not. It's not at all. That's why I said what you want to divulge. That's why I said that's why we're trying to bust Corey's balls and make sure that he's at the building this Saturday, because there's a lot of good shit that we can't talk about here on the show. I just know I, for one, am looking forward to being there at BCWA. If you haven't already gotten your tickets, make sure you get some tickets or get you one at the door. And I can say on the show that I'll be here this time. So, yeah, if you see me, come say what's up. Like I said, BCWA is going to be the place to be on Saturday.
I did already spoil that Tony Thunder was going to be there, so Tony Thunder would be there as well. I can add that in. I spoiled that.
Well, that's worth the price of admission right there. Hot damn it. I've been seeing it. He's been trying to get himself in better shape, man. You know, let's go. Let's see what Tony Thunder's got in store this Saturday.
Tony Thunder's my boy, man. I go way back with Tony Thunder. I just hung out with him. What was it? It was on day 1 of WrestleMania. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but fuck it, I don't care. He does some training of guys down in Indiana.
Yeah.
So me and a good buddy of mine, Nick Braxton, drove out there and worked at the school, I guess you want to call it. Really good setup they got there. We worked out there with him and one of his trainees for 3 hours. It was an awesome time. I loved it. So yeah, Tony Thunder's my boy, man. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Tony Thunder, one of the originals of well, not the originals, but basically one of the originals of Knockouts and 3 Counts. And like I said, he's the original one that put us in contact with BCWA. So definitely shout out to Tony Thunder with that one. There you go. He's in the comments right there. But with that being said, we've talked about BCWA Die Harder. I mean, I don't know what more I need to tell you other than get a fucking ticket because you need to be at the show. But with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the other end of the show. You know, we talk about all the time that we do wrestling and we do combat sports and all those things. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all this stuff we see with the celebrity boxing, the celebrity fighting, all this stuff? I mean, hell, we've seen the Paul brothers in every incarnation we got so far. Hell, Logan Paul was just at WrestleMania when I was there. Ring the bell, Tony. Hot. I beat you to it, you son of a bitch. But with that being said, what are your thoughts on the state of the fight game? Do you like the celebrity fight stuff? Are you a bigger fan of watching MMA these days or boxing or what tickles your fancy in the fight game?
Me?
Yeah.
I love the celebrity shit. I'm the worst ever in the world when it comes to I don't really watch current wrestling. I read everything, I keep up with it, I watch highlights, but it takes a lot for me to actually, turn it on and watch it just because I'm nuts. I'm weird in my own way. Shooting on me there, brother. Yeah, goddamn. No, the Paul kid there did that. That was awesome at WrestleMania. When he did the 3 Amigos, and then he got up and did the Eddie. I mean, dude, that was the most heat anybody had that whole weekend. It was awesome. No, I love all that stuff, man. It's entertainment. That's like I said earlier for our shows to where we've got a little bit of something for everybody. That's why they bring these guys in. It's no different than when they brought in Mr. T for WrestleMania, or Andy Kaufman in Memphis with Jerry Lawler. Shit's awesome, man. Even here's the last 2 boxing matches that I have ordered. Okay, so let's go back. So I watched Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins in 2007. I didn't watch a boxing fight until Conor and Floyd, and then I ordered Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. So, hey, be a piece of shit, but that's what for me. That's what gets me, right? That's what gets me. So like, hey, how many people are there out there like me? You know, who knows? So no,
I guess I'm a piece of shit too.
Yeah, as I
I'm
consider myself a fight degenerate is the term I like to call myself.
Yeah, and it's like I knew, you know, I knew Connor and Floyd was a work. I mean, they're riding on the same plane together to Ireland and England and shit. It's like I know it's a work, but like, it's like I wanted to believe. It's like, you know, like you're a kid. It's like I wanted to believe, and yeah, I love that shit, man. Shit's awesome. Like Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn, like that.
That was fucking so much better than I expected.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I love both ends of the spectrum. So like I enjoyed that match, right? But like I listened to Jim Cornette's podcast. I listen to all the podcasts, but when I was like, man, like I can't wait to hear what Cornette has to say about this, and he shit all over it. Like, and, like that was entertaining to me. That was entertaining to me. So I like all sides, aspects. I like every angle that everybody can take. Like I enjoy it.
To be fair,
and
Cornette
that's
shits on a lot of shit. Like he shits on.
He really does.
Jim Cornette would want to fucking hit me in the head with a shovel and bury me alive if he seen me work one time. But whatever.
Well, I mean, he wanted to fight Santino last time he was at Kobo too, so it's all right.
Yeah.
Which I was just watching that today. It was awesome. Like that shit's hilarious.
I mean, Jim Cornette, if nothing else, dude, whether you like the guy, hate the guy, whatever, he's fucking entertaining.
Yeah,
and I'll still never forget when I went to the Pritchard show, which if you guys are new here, you said you listen to podcasts. Make sure you check us out on whatever podcast platform that you listen to your shit, because you can go back and listen to our chat with Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff. But when we got to see Bruce here, I remember Cornette tried to whip his dick out right before the whole fiasco at Kobo happened. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I remember me and Devin sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, this asshole's about to whip his dick out in front of all these people. So I'm not really surprised by any story that I hear when it comes to Jim Cornette, but I've been telling people for how long that we were going to talk about this. But I mean, dude, you had your soiree with fighting and all those things back in the day. What? I don't remember how we even came across this conversation, but I'll never forget it. And it shows you how small like the world is in the wrestling world and how many people know people, because when you and I were sitting there at the Firehouse Pub, which if you guys are coming to BCWA Die Harder this weekend, like I said, we need to all do a shot after the show, but I'm just saying, I digress. But with that being said, we were sitting there.
If the long-haired fellow here shows up, I'll buy him 2 shots.
See there? Hot damn, you're getting offered 2 shots. Not 1, but 2 shots, and now you ain't got no excuse, all right?
That sounds like the ticket's worth the admission on that one.
Ticket's worth the price of the admission.
If he actually shows up, we're not talking like top shelf stuff. Like you're not getting any Crystal Head vodka or anything, but I'll hook you up.
I'm a beer drinker anyway. I'll keep it simple on you. So
get him a mini beer.
1 beer.
2 beers. What? Speaking of that, dude, holy shit. You know who doesn't drink cheap whiskey? MVP does not drink cheap whiskey. But shout out to MVP because he upgraded our tickets when we went to Raw last week. But I hadn't even never heard of the fucking whiskey that me and Rand bought for shots when we met him at the bar afterwards. I'd never even heard of the shit. But I mean, again, most of the time when I drink, I'm a lot like Corey. I'm easy to please when it comes to the alcohol. I just stick to the simple stuff with beer. Most of the time, you might catch me with a couple shots of Jack or Fireball or something like that, or maybe an occasional Jack and Coke. But for the most part, I'm usually good with beer. But that was one of the highlights for me for sure with that was one of the highlights for sure for me with WrestleMania weekend. But like I said, we were shooting the shit
before we get to that. Speaking of the you were there, right? For that one?
Ring the bell. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, night 1 of WrestleMania, like the whole show was awesome. Even the tag match, like when he had that injury, like I thought it was a work because they did such a good job of covering for it. I'm like, no, that was planned. I'm like, that was planned. And then when it came out, like he was really injured, I'm like, holy, like I was so impressed. Which, I mean, that's what those guys are paid to do. So, I mean, I really should press, but no, night one was awesome. But I mean, like, how was it being there with, because you had all the rumors like it was going to be a match, but then it wasn't going to be a match. So like when you were sitting there and you're like, holy fuck, like he's really about to go. Like, how was that?
I totally enjoyed. I said this on our review show, but dude, night one was definitely better than night two. But I think a lot of that wasn't so much because night two was bad. I think a lot of the problem was they stacked night one so heavy that I feel like nothing that they were going to do on night two was going to be able to overcome it, which is why I think you saw Austin on night two as well. But I mean, dude, like you said, from start to finish, like, and I told Corey and J-Bone this literally as soon as I got home, like literally from start to finish, night one was just a fun ass show. Like literally every match was good. There were multiple matches where you could have said, you know what, this was match of the night. Like a lot of people were saying it was Cody and Seth. Other people were saying it was Bianca and Becky. But I mean, you had multiple matches that definitely lived up to the hype. But as far as Stone Cold was my dude. What? Just kidding. There's a picture of him, literally me and him right behind me to my right. Like he's literally been my all-time favorite. So for me, regardless of what happened in those matches for WrestleMania, Austin was what I was looking forward to. But I've said this on multiple occasions, dude. Like what was also cool is because of where I was sitting, we were sitting lower bowl, like right before you go to the field. So if you're looking at the stage from the ring, we're all the way to the right side of the stage. But what was cool about that, I could see Austin's four-wheeler before he went to go get it. So I knew he wasn't just walking to the ring. Or like on night two, when Sasha and Naomi came out, I saw the Lambo or Becky's Rolls Royce and stuff. It was just because of where they put him. So I saw the four-wheeler, and dude, when he came out, being, like I said, him being my all-time favorite as a kid and it being in Dallas, that place came fucking unglued. And the fact that they actually had a match, like, I was saying for weeks that I thought it was going to be a match. There's video proof of it, which if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But with that being said, I was saying for weeks, I was like, with as much as Corey Graves keeps bringing up, oh, he hasn't been in the ring in 19 years. There's no way that it could just be, okay, we're going to have the KO show. They're going to fight. It's going to be a couple stunners, a few beers, and that's what's going to happen. I was like, there's got to be some kind of a match. But I certainly didn't expect that it was going to be at least a 10-minute match, much less seeing Stone Cold getting suplexed on the fucking floor out in the crowd after not being in the ring for 20 years. Like, in my opinion, I thought he well over-delivered from what we expected. Now,
Absolutely.
Vince might have topped himself on night two for the worst stunner bump of all time. But I'm just saying.
McAfee tore it up. McAfee and
yes,
tore
dude.
it up.
Yeah.
Facts.
So like I love Bret Hart. Bret Hart and Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 26. I was so excited to see that. And that's probably like the worst WrestleMania match of all time. Not even Bret was moving around good. Vince sold okay. It just went 15 minutes and he just beat the shit out of him. It was like, there's no fucking reason for this. It's probably the worst match ever. Vince and McAfee's probably the worst WrestleMania match ever. Like, I get it. Like, McAfee just had a match and then Theory jumped him, but it's like, shit was horrible.
It was just so unnecessary, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
The match between him and Theory, though, was good.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. McAfee's awesome. It was awesome. Yeah.
You could see McAfee was just kind of being respectful, I guess you could say. Like, he didn't want to be that guy that somehow ended up hurting Vince or some shit like that. So he kind of like played touch, but you could say like he definitely didn't go all out like he had just went 10 minutes before,
Yeah, McAfee would be like any of us four if Vince McMahon called us up right now. I was like, "Hey, pal, I need you at Raw on Monday to do a job for me." Like, yes, sir. Like, we're just
right. Let's go.
Beat my
And
ass.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. If I can look half as good as he did at 80 fucking years old, dude, like I'm just saying, like that motherfucker was still jacked.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, dude, it was night one was a fucking blast, and it was cool because like honestly, dude, at this point, like one of the best parts of WrestleMania weekend for me anymore is because like since we've started like traveling to go to all these different things to network and all those things, it's so cool just to meet up with so many of our guests. Like we linked up with Miranda Gordy was out there because her boyfriend, our buddy Niles Plonk, was on main event before the Raw after. Like they were down there for Mania. They usually bring them in anytime they're in Texas or whatever. But they came through and came and found Devin and I in the stand. So it was cool to like kick it with them for a little bit, ran into a few other people. And then like what's cool is it's like the best part about WrestleMania, and this is like the best compliment I can give it. Like anybody who watches the show knows that Devin doesn't really fuck with WWE anymore. But I was able to get him a free ticket for night one. So I was like, dude, I've got a free ticket night one. If you tell me you're not going, I'm going to kick you in the balls, dude, because you literally live right down the street. And they said Stone Cold's coming back for his last match, and you're telling me you're not going to go, and I'm giving you a free fucking ticket. Fuck you. Right. You're going. So we went there, dude, and like everybody's there just to have a good time. Like I don't know how else to put it. Everybody's there for WrestleMania. Even if you're not the biggest wrestling fan per se, everybody's there for that. So just the energy of it is just something different because like you saw once it came out, like WrestleMania beat the Super Bowl and everything else for the numbers that it did on social media and all that. So like that would be the only way I could really like describe it to anybody else. I never compare it to any other wrestling show I go to because WrestleMania is just a thing of its own. The energy that's in that place is insane. And I have to say, I wasn't the biggest fan when I was at the WrestleMania in New York. Out of the ones I've been to out of state, it was probably the least enjoyable of them. And for that being a 2-night show, dude, I gotta say, dude, they really did. I mean, I was very entertained by pretty much everything that happened, and especially on night one. I mean, like I've said, and I've given it as much. I think from start to finish, dude, it was definitely a good time. Hopefully, they're able to keep this going if we're gonna stay on the two-night platform. Personally, I like it better having been to them, and here's why. A lot of people are bitching about the 2-day thing, but here's why I think that that's a great thing. Because when they were doing them and they got to be like where they were like 8 hours long, holy shit, that is a long time to sit there. Not to mention the New York one was an outdoor stadium, so we're getting rained on. And then the main event that everybody wanted to see, which was supposed to be like the first female main event with Ronda and Becky and Charlotte, we're getting rained on, and it didn't even go into the ring until like fucking 12:30 at night, and we've been there since 4. So I am a big fan of the 2-night thing because I think it's a lot more digestible.
No, yeah, that's
I'm not even going to use the old guy excuse on that one.
There you go.
No, that's just anybody. That's rough.
That's way too long. I mean,
look, man,
like
I was having a hard time sitting in those seats at Monday Night Raw this past Monday. I couldn't imagine sitting there for 8 hours, dude. There's no way I could handle that. Absolutely not. No way.
What do you think of the 2-night WrestleMania, Martel?
Oh, I love it. It's great. Like night one, I watched it at Braxton's house. We were watching it together, and right when like as soon as it ended, we're like, man, that was awesome. Like I'm tired and I'm ready to go to bed, and it was like perfect timing. You know, like you guys said, like it wasn't like I was sitting there like, oh my god, like we've got 3 more matches. Like no, it was great. It was perfect timing. Like it was good. I love it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I hope I'm not such a big downer on the 2-day WrestleMania like you see a lot of people with. But all right, now that we've talked about WrestleMania, dude, we got to tell this fight story. So we talked about it a little bit. I didn't even know. This shows you again how small the world is. But the fact that we ended up talking about this over beers at the damn Firehouse pub, that we figured out that you and I fought on the same card when I was fucking 13 years old is a wild story. So what do you remember of your soirees in the squared circle as far as fighting goes, and what do you remember of that fight?
So I basically, like when we got out of high school, Braxton, who I just mentioned, like he started training pro wrestling. I wanted to do that, but I didn't have $1,500 to train. So shout out Cody. I like the 2 days as well. So I'm like, you know what? I like MMA too. Like, I'm going to give this a try. So I started training at Cooper's gym there in Detroit, Warren Avenue. And it was like probably like March 2006, I think I started training. And yeah, so when the fight that you're referencing would be, probably either July or August of 2006.
I was gonna say I was a freshman, so
I know it was in the summer.
Yep. It was hot as shit. It was hot as shit. It was outside in the middle of the parking lot right next to the gay strip club Gigi's.
Yep. I think that's actually, in fairness, isn't that a transsexual strip club?
It could have changed now, but I just remember back then.
Not a lot of people say they could fight next to that, you know.
I remember when they tricked me into going in there. There was and not that there's anything wrong with this, but men dressed as women inside of the establishment. However, I will say this about the ring that we fought in. I don't know if you remember, but me and Blackwell were talking to a guy last week. Whenever BCWA would run the outdoor shows, we had the black canvas, and it was horrible, and it's so heat. We had you remember what color the canvas was there? It was a red. Absolutely, yeah. So at least if you got knocked out, it wasn't real hot. Which I guess if it was really hot, maybe that would bring you back to life and you'd beat the 10 count. But no, I remember, and I'm probably people would be like, you're a fucking pussy. Whatever, I don't care. I've never tried to be a tough guy. I remember I woke up that morning and I went to the fridge and drinking some water, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat some toast with like orange marmalade. I've heard that like helps out with like I'm not gonna have so much lactic acid. So I'm ready, and I'm just looking out the window and I see clouds. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope it rains today, because I really don't want to do this. It was going to be my first amateur fight. And so let's see, 2006. So if you were, what'd you say? You were 13?
I was 14. Yeah, I just turned 14.
So 2000. So I was 19. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like this first like amateur fight, like it was a good slip and slide. Yeah, I was so fucking nervous, and I seen the clouds in the air, and I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna rain. I don't have to do this. And then I got there, and the clouds cleared up. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh hell yeah, they did. It was hot as shit that day too.
We all got ready in the building across the street,
right
from Cooper's. Yes, that Steve was doing MMA training there on Saturdays, so it was like kind of like an abandoned. It was like. Maybe like an abandoned dentist's office, right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what kind of building it was, but it was the building was not anything to do with Cooper's, and that was the building we walked out of to get to the ring.
Yeah.
Shortly after, because I had worked in the area, that building actually got revamped into another medical center that then got flipped on by the DEA for being a pill farm. So
I called it a dentist office.
Bringing you all the facts and shit.
Yeah.
I worked in that area for too damn long. I'm glad to say that I work for a family business now and don't have to locate myself to the greater Dearborn, Detroit area every morning. Thank Jesus. But that being said, yeah, I know far too much about that area.
So, I'm going to put a bow on mine, and then I want to hear yours, because that'll be interesting. But I just, at the time, so goddamn, no wonder you don't recognize me, because at the time I was what? Maybe like 153.
What up, Coltrane?
So, I mean, we're talking 70 pounds lighter, 15 years younger. What? Yeah, but I remember right before the fight, they were like, all right, you're going to fight. It was a guy that I used to spar with all the time. He was an older gentleman. He's probably maybe 40. He was good, but and then like right before we go out, they're like, yeah, you can't do any kicks below the waist. I'm like, okay. First thing I did was fucking leg kick the guy. Like, dude, I've been training for 6 months. What do you know how to do after 6 months? leg kicks and fucking jabs, right? Like, and maybe a wild right hand. Like, fuck this guy. I'm leg kicking the shit out of this guy. But I remember, so I mean, I was in shape at the time, and I was running 5 miles a day. I was working out every single day. I was training 2 or 3 days a week at the, Muay Thai, and then like the Saturday jiu-jitsu. And I think there were 2-minute rounds. If memory serves me correct, there were 2 rounds. And in between rounds, I sat down on the stool and I'm like, there's no way I can physically get up off of this stool. I'm so fucking tired. And I have such an adrenaline dump. I'm so fucking tired. There's no way I can physically get off this stool. If I do, I will die. But somehow I got up and we went to the decision, and I think they did the gimmick, didn't they? They didn't announce. It was just everything was a draw, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was just a smoker deal.
Yeah. And so coincidentally, just that same feeling I have when I was sitting on the stool in between the first and second rounds. After Studio 86 today, or whenever we make our entrance, I have the same thought in my mind of there's no fucking way that I can physically get in the ring and do anything after doing all of this bullshit.
I told you, bro, they got the fucking loaded fanny packs. I told you that'd be like the best fucking gimmick to be able to get over with the ref, man. That's what it is. It was them loaded fanny
we got a lot of shit in there, man. It really weighs us down. But no, I mean, how was it for you? I mean, obviously, if it was that was definitely your first amateur fight, right? And I didn't know that the age gap was that much. I thought it was a few years, because I was thinking we probably sparred against each other in all actuality. But if you were only
very well
14,
could have been. I mean,
if you were 14 and I was 19, probably not. But Sensei was fucking crazy, man. Remember he killed the guy with the head kick, right? Remember, you've heard that story.
Don't get me started on the fucking stories that I heard in that.
I mean, dude, our gym was fucking crazy. So like I've had like 2 amateur fights, and I don't know how many you had, but as far as legitimate fights, I mean, we probably have both had like 30 or 40. Remember, you used to come into, we talked about this. You used to come into training and they'd be like, okay, everybody take off all of your protective gear, take off your cup, and no mouth guard, and we're live sparring. Basically just fucking live rounds, like this is a fucking street fight.
So I saw that. Luckily, I didn't have to do that. But I got my ass kicked one time. Oh my God. So I'll tell this story because this pertains to what we're talking about. Son of a bitch. All right. Well, first of all, when it pertains to the fight, yes, that was my first amateur fight, my first time ever deciding to step into a ring. Number one, fighting was never something that I wanted to do. I loved it once I got into it, but it was not my choice. My mom is the one that got me into it because I grew up with cerebral palsy and Crohn's disease. I got bullied a shit ton when we were kids. It is what it is. My mom got me into fighting because she got tired of it. So she put me in that gym specifically because I was like one of the only white spots in that motherfucker. So that was number one. When it comes to time to the fight thing, I never thought that I would fight. Never in a million years did I think that. But I also didn't know until I started boxing that, oh shit, I actually can hit pretty hard. So you know how they were, again, with the people that we trained with. You know, they could make you think that everything was cool. They were like, bro, you hit hard. You know, if we tighten you up a little bit, you'll be good for this smoker show. And I'm like, fuck yeah. 14-year-old kid think I'm Billy Badass. Fuck yeah. Let's fight. And then, yeah. So the day of the thing, like he said, we were fighting outside. It was hotter than shit. Anybody can walk up to the ring. And then before I fought, there were 2 6-year-olds that fought right before I did. And the kid's mom, I shit you not, I will never forget this till the day I die. This kid's mom jumped up on the apron. Now, when he was dishing it out, it was cool. As soon as he started to take some of it back, his mom jumped up on the apron, pulled the kid out the ring in the middle of the fight.
She's waving. It's over.
And my ma come running back there. I'm next, so I'm about to walk out. They've already got me gloved up. I've got headgear on and all that, whatever. She goes, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can watch this. Said, I don't give a fuck what happens. Stay out of the ring. I don't care if I get knocked out. Stay the fuck out of the ring because I can't end up like this kid did. So we go in there, and again, this is like the first time I fought really since I started to box. And I mean, this kid had already kind of done a few smoker shows, whatever. He's beat my ass for the first couple rounds, dude. He was beating my ass basically for the whole first 2 rounds, and I was just trying to defend and cover up. And I'll never forget, I took the worst punch I ever took in that fight, and I landed the best punch I ever landed in that fight because that kid was beating my ass for a while, and then I finally made him miss, and I ducked under, and I hit him with a left hook, and I hit him about as hard as – or no, I take it back. It was right hand. I hit him with a left hook, but the right hand was the one that hurt him. I hit him so hard that I felt my fist hit him through the glove. So even with like my hands completely wrapped, I felt my knuckles crack this dude up the side of his jaw. And it freaked me out so bad that I like hesitated for a minute. I'm like, oh shit. Like, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I hit the kid and he went from one end of the ring to the other and fell up against the ropes. If we'd have been in a cage, he'd have fell flat on his ass. But I was so not expecting that I hesitated before I went to go try to finish him. My fuck up. So we made it out of the round, and then of course, like you said, I was tired as shit by the time we got to the end of that fight. And boy, let me tell you, body shots suck when you're not tired. When you are tired, it's funny how much worse they suck. And not only did I take a body shot, I got hit in the liver. And the kid hit me, and I'm like, oh, damn, that sucked, but I'm all right. Keep moving forward, and it's got a delayed reaction. Anyone who knows when you get hit in the liver, there's a delayed reaction. He hit me, and I'm like, oh, shit, I can't breathe. I'm like, I need to take a knee because I'm not going to be able to defend this. And I was like, oh, my God, dude. Like, that was by far the worst punch ever took in my life. So I landed the best punch I've ever landed on somebody and the worst punch I've ever taken in the same fight. But you're not lying. The stories that I could tell out of that place, I remember driving out to 59 West in Milford, and we were going to fight, and we drove all the way there, and I did the medicals, we did all the stuff, did the weigh-in, all that, whatever, and only to find out that the guy they wanted me to fight had already fought through Golden Gloves twice, and this is like my first actual fight that's supposed to go on my passport, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, well, I'll fight the guy, but shit. and that fight didn't end up happening because other stuff that we can talk about off the air. But yeah, that was that. And then it's funny you bring up Steve because Corey was there for the last time I ever boxed. It was the only time I ever got knocked out. I fought a guy. I was supposed to fight at 125. The guy I was supposed to fight never showed up. I was also supposed to be a lot higher on the card than where I ended up. So I was waiting around like all day, just hitting pads, trying to stay warm. And then I finally get in there. I fought a dude that was like 6'1", 145 pounds. And I weighed in, I was 5'3" at the time and 125 pounds. And it's safe to say that I was not a happy camper when I got in there for that one already to start. So I tried to knock the guy out in the first minute and a half, and I came pretty damn close because if you remember Corey, I remember blasting dude's shit out, and he wasn't ready for it. But the reason I bring that up is it's funny you bring up Steve because Steve was actually the referee for that. And I remember when the guy finally did drop me, and that's the thing. He hit me a lot before he finally put me down. Like it was just one that was like a flash, and I got right back up. But I remember when I went down, I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you all around me? Because there was only like 30 seconds, like about 30 seconds, 45 seconds left of the last round. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. This guy we've went 4 rounds and this guy hasn't been able to hurt me at all. And then in the last 45 seconds, I went down and got right back up and was like, son of a bitch, dude. I was so mad. So it's funny you bring up Steve, but yeah, dude, it's crazy how small the world is that we both fought on the same card. And there were too many similarities to remember that wasn't the same thing. We remembered the canvas color. I remember it being hotter than hell. I remember my dad, rest his soul. I remember he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He did just like football. He goes, I had a big plate of hash browns and ham and eggs. And he's like, we got to get you filled up because you probably aren't going to be able to eat again for a while before the fight. So he's got a whole ass plate for me to eat, and I'm like, damn, this is a lot of food before I'm about to get in the ring, dude. So, for anybody that's coming, right, and not to mention, I took that nasty ass body shot. So, yeah, that's my first fight story. Yeah, It started as the best of times and ended up not so good. But
you know what?
it
It could have ended up a lot worse. You could have either puked or shit all over yourself.
It could have been a lot worse, man.
Thank God, because me having Crohn's, that is very not out of the realm of possibility. And so I'm glad that didn't happen. But that's why you guys got to make sure you're careful what you eat before you come out this Saturday for BCWA Die Harder. But I know you guys have always got the concessions and everything that are going to be there, dude. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for Saturday to get here, and I'm ready for a few post-show shots. Besides, hey, we got the fights that are going on this weekend. Past guest of the show, Shane Taylor, told us that his cousin Bilal Muhammad is in the main event against Luque, so who knows? Maybe we'll have a couple shots to check out some UFC after the fight's over. Or after the show's over.
Play them there. I think they do play them there at the Firehouse.
They usually got them on, so then there you go. That's the move. Corey, you definitely don't got an excuse now. Now we're going to be watching the fight.
Yeah,
he's buying you not one but two shots.
As long as
you got no excuses.
Listen, brother, you got no excuse because I am going to get an Uber to take me to my parents' house because I live, like an hour and a half away. And then I'm going to drink Four Locos in my parents' basement and watch the disappointment.
Four Locos, shit.
I'm going to watch the disappointment on my father's face make me question all the decisions that I've made as an adult and continue to make, which I really should question them more than I do. But if I'm going to put myself through all of that, you can come out and have a shot and watch some UFC with us.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a damn good time. So,
it's always a good time when the boys get together too. Yeah. So we'll make it happen.
One thing before we do jump off the combat sphere, I'm genuinely super surprised with how little media coverage Bellator is getting this Friday. I want to get your guys.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk.
Yeah. I know your circumstance.
You got a little more.
Your
meat on the
circumstance
bone
aside, the fact that you got two of their most highly contested belts up on the card, you got the return of AJ McKee. You got Corey Anderson.
My whole point.
Working his way. You got Corey Anderson finally working his way into a title shot, and I don't see nobody in the MMA sphere talking about it at all. Like,
I haven't heard much about it. That's their second
fight, outside of our homie Jimmy Smith, dude. Nobody's really been talking about the whole stuff with Bellator, dude. And like I said, I've been trying to cover that all this week, and like I say,
unsuccessfully.
I don't know what to say. I mean, Bellator. That's the thing. Bellator has always had talent. They just. I don't get it. They never, even back in the day when they used to be on MTV2 and all the other stuff, they just never have, in my opinion, that's always been their issue. And again, I'm not shitting on Bellator. One of my best friends, Miles Jury, is one of their top-ranked lightweights. I'm just saying that's why I feel like they always end up below UFC because they don't do a good enough job of promoting their own shit. Like we talked about with BCWA, you guys are selling a whole damn card and nobody even knows who the fuck's on it. They've got Cyborg and AJ McKee getting ready to fight here and nobody's talking about it. I mean, I feel like somebody is fucking up somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's because the UFC did exactly what you're talking about, to where they just UFC.
Chris told you not to drink the Four Locos, bro.
I think that's the second time he said it. Listen, I only do it after I wrestle, so it's a very rare occasion. So I'll be okay.
Whatever gets you right, man.
Truly, though, to the point where people don't even associate mixed martial arts with MMA, it's UFC. Do you fight for the UFC or do you fight for one of the secondary organizations? So it's unfortunate to be that way, and it just genuinely surprises me, like how many people are bringing up, I love the Vicente Luque, Bilal Muhammad fight. Being a fight degenerate I am, there's not a chance I'm going to miss the card. Really rooting for Bilal Muhammad to get this one back, even though I like Vicente Luque. I just feel like I like Bilal a little more in this circumstance. But either way, with just the amount of fire that this Bellator card is bringing on Friday and just the lack of eyeballs that it seems to be garnering so far is just... it's really unfortunate, man.
Can't argue that. Can't argue that, dude. But I mean, I know for one, I mean, I'm at least interested to see what's going to happen with this AJ McKee stuff. I'm honestly looking more forward to the UFC card, but that's why it's a great weekend because we've got both of them and we've got BCWA going down this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing a dope ass show. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody back there. Chris, if you're there and don't say hello, I'm going to fucking drop kick you and throw your ass in the ring next. So if you guys haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Martel, feel free to throw out and let anybody know where they can get last minute tickets or any of that kind of good shit before we get out.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. No, you're going to want to go to go BCWA.com, BCWA on Facebook, go BCWA on, I'm trying to read this at the same time. Chris, you're fucking up my plug, brother. I mean, I see you say thank you, so I can't be too mad at you. We'll have to rewind that, Chris. I'll read it back, I promise. Go BCWA.com, BCWA Facebook. It's the show takes place at the Copeland Center in Wyandotte, Michigan, 6 p.m. Saturday night. Show will start on time. VIP pre-show, if you want to get your VIP tickets. I don't know, we might be sold out, but if you get VIP, doors open at 5 or 5:30. I'm the fucking worst, man. I don't know. I had a couple well waters here, so I'm not it's also 10:30 and I've been up since 4:30. So go BCWA.com. I do know for sure 6 o'clock, Copeland Center, Wyandotte, Michigan. You're not
there
gonna
you go.
miss.
Jess has got it 5 o'clock.
There we go. That's what I thought. Yeah, the pre-show match will be at like if you get VIP tickets, you get a VIP pre-show match only for the VIPs, and that starts at about 5:25, 5:30. So yeah.
Like we said, be there or be square, motherfuckers. And since we were talking about MMA, like I said, I am getting ready. If you guys haven't seen it already, I am making my debut here in a little bit less than a half hour with the ASAP Throwing Hands fam over here at All Sports All Plays Network. So I'm going to go flap my gums a little bit more about MMA and boxing. So if you feel so inclined, make sure you go over there and check that out. But
how in the fuck do you got that in you, brother? You're the fucking Iron Man.
Hey, bro. I mean, we've been grinding out here. I was supposed to be interviewing a kid from Bellator today doing that, and I got my taxes together, and I got to go work my regular 9 to 5 at the damn post office tomorrow. This is the epitome of grown man shit right here, this man above me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to get out here, bro. That's why I try to tell these people, knockouts and 3 counts is bringing you the best because I'm doing all this shit with a full-time job. And hey, me and J-Bone got to get ready to go out to Vegas. It's almost time for Vegas. Tomorrow we got to get some plane tickets for Vegas because hell, I might get beat up at Extreme Couture again. But hey, that's why you got to hit subscribe so you see it if I do get beat up. So until next time, it is the in-between time. I appreciate you guys for checking us out. Make sure you're at BCWA this Saturday. Until next time, in the in-between time. Peace.
If you are, find J-Bone for your stickers, baby.
Hell yeah, get you a motherfucking sticker and stick them bitches anywhere. Peace.
Give me one Saturday.